Hello everyone, this is Michael. I'm here in my rather lovely apartment, sitting with my lovely cats. I have literally cats walking everywhere, so if you hear any in the background, I apologize. But I wanted to talk about something, and it's something that's important to me, and it's basically about trans rights. Trans rights is something that are basically human rights. Human rights, something that we all should have. It's something that you should have, I should have, and a lot of people kind of scream about having rights or having their rights taken away. But at the same time, people don't kind of put their money where their mouth is. Now, I want to basically preface this before anyone starts attacking me. I'm not a fan of J.K. Rowling. Don't read the Harry Potter books. Don't watch the Harry Potter movies. Don't really want to play the Harry Potter games. I'm not that influenced by that kind of content. I don't really care about it. It's not something that makes me extremely happy. I'm more into other things like Pokemon, Nintendo, and all the other stuff that was around my time. So I don't really care very much about these sort of things. But I'm also someone who's worked in the film industry, and due to working in the film industry, there's been constant debates about actors who have now been cancelled or shamed to the point where they are no longer working in the industry, and there's still a conversation, an ongoing conversation, of whether or not it's right to watch their content. Guys like Kevin Spacey, who's one of the biggest ones. If you're looking at producers, Harvey Weinstein is another one. But again, you see people still watching Kevin Smith movies because they're like, well, he distributed it, but Kevin Smith is the guy behind it, yada, yada, yada. So there's kind of arguments that can be made. Now, people are wondering what the hell I'm going on about because you live under a rock. I'm talking about the Hogwarts Legacy video game. A game that's, despite the outrage and the chaos that's ensuing at the moment, and attacks that are being brought on certain individuals, it's sold rather well. It's done extremely great numbers. It hasn't taken any sort of hit. So what people are trying to do has not been done. But I do have an issue. The issue is the fact that you have streamers and people playing the content being attacked violently, vehemently, and doxed as well. If you don't know what doxing is, Ouija, thank you. If you don't know what doxing is when someone's address has been given out publicly, and because it's been given out publicly, they are basically being attacked by various individuals, including stuff of having police informed and having them go to that person's address, aka swatting. This doesn't need to happen, and I get there's outrage, and I get there is rightly so, there is outrage, because the trans community has been attacked, constantly attacked, and this isn't the first time. People have wound up dead. People have wound up being mistreated, to the fact that you still have American politicians, and I would say American because this is the most vocal, attacking the trans community. You've had trans individuals not being able to go to work wearing what they feel comfortable in, right? Men and women, by the way. People who I've identified as men and women, whose pronouns should be male and female, are being attacked in certain ways by colleagues, by bosses, and no one has given a crap. Things have gotten maybe a little bit better, but it hasn't advanced as much as, say, the LGBTQ community. And I do put trans aside from that because I believe that the LGBTQ community does not actually treat the trans community as part of it, which they should do. They should do. And also, it's the same as people of colour have probably made more strides in the trans community. And it hasn't helped with comedians like Dave Chappelle attacking the trans community. And despite the fact that he used the straw man argument of, well, I had a trans friend and she didn't have a problem with it. That's pretty much the same excuse that racist white people use with, I have a black friend and they don't seem to have a problem with my values. It goes more and more into a situation where people feel desperate. They feel like no one cares about them, and they feel like they're being ostracized to the point where no one gives a crap. But I would like to also add the counter argument to that, which is the people who are supposed to give a crap don't. The people in charge. We're trying. The allies are trying to fight for you, to help you. I've had situations where you've had some assholes in stores misgendering people and making them basically almost reduced to tears. I've stood up for them. When I've seen issues and attacks happening, I've stood up for people. Even online, I've stood up for people. But does this, the years of stress and years of mistreatment, should that justify abusing someone for playing a video game? The answer is no. Sorry, I've got an angry cat here getting very, very angry at my guest, who's a little Shiba Inu, but I can show you that at the end of the video. So no, it doesn't. Outrage and abuse are two different things. Like, if you want to go out your way to cancel someone, you should be able to do that. Go and cancel them. Point out that person is homophobic, that person is racist, that person's this, and show receipts, show evidence to back up your claims. But you shouldn't be attacking people that you've liked, that have treated the community well and have donated and worked on charity streams and are trying to offset the fact that, yeah, they feel guilty playing this game by saying, hey, tell you what, because this video game is anti-trans and made by a developer who has an anti-trans stance, and also with content from an anti-trans advocate who basically wants to treat people with disrespect, and I'm talking about J.K. Rowling, who I think is a main piece of garbage, despite the fact she does everything she could in terms of charity and all the good stuff she has done. She is a piece of garbage because her stance on basically whether real women are real women, real men are real men, that shouldn't be happening, because she has a huge audience and she's very vocal about her views, regardless of actually speaking with people or trying to take the time to actually, talk to people and discuss the subject and trying to enlighten herself a bit more, because she doesn't. And I get it that the developers tried to do a half measure by introducing someone who, like a student who goes to Hogwarts, who actually is trans in her own right. But at the same time, people feel like this is too little too late, and that it's kind of a half-assed way of doing it, because despite the influence with the naming of the character, a lot of people feel like it's just like it's like a racist person trying to do something nice for the black community, but still coming off racist, if that makes anything clear on that. So I just want to try and put my 2 cents across anyway. This is why I made this video, because I wanted to make sure that we understood that regardless of how you feel about something, and I know it's stressful, I know it's frustrating, but taking the time to realize that if you go all militant and bully people in order to get them to listen to you, it's not going to work. It won't work. All it's going to do is going to make the other guys, the ones sitting there discriminating against you and hurting you and trying to harm your case, it will make those people make them think that they're justified, because they feel that the community is attacking people that they shouldn't be attacking, people who are allies. And that's another thing. You will lose allies over this if people don't, stop. If you really want to play the game and you're technically like 2 ways about the situation and you feel bad, wait until the game is pre-owned. Buy it pre-owned. That way J.K. Rowling doesn't get any money, the studio doesn't get any money, you can play the game guilt-free and have your Harry Potter fix. If you want to buy Harry Potter DVDs and such, do so by purchasing it pre-owned. That way you can do what you need to do. Don't use streaming, because streaming, she'll still get residuals from that. Try not to basically purchase new, she'll get residuals from it. That way you can hurt her wallet. And The biggest thing also you can do, if you have a friend who is buying the game and wants to play the game and doesn't understand your stance, talk to them, communicate, discuss it. Because that way you are still keeping an ally rather than losing an ally, because you've got a lot of people out there right now who are like they're allies, they're advocates, you know? They love their friends, they love their community. I love my friends. Like I've got a lot of trans friends. I've dated trans women before myself, being, you know, me being pansexual and everything. So I understand all these things. I understand why people are so frustrated. But I feel that the other communities, the ones that segregate themselves from the trans community, need to come together and help. You know, the trans community supported the Black Lives Matter movement. The trans community supported the LGBTQ movement. They still do. And I feel like leaving your trans friends out in the cold is kind of ridiculous at this point, because all you're doing is hurting yourself and your cause, because you're not willing to defend someone else who's in the same situation as you. Now, as I said, again, I'm not going to be playing the game. Don't care about it. Don't want to play it. Who cares? That's how I see it. And I also see it as I am supporting the people that I care about. But I also don't feel that yelling, screaming, bullying, fighting people who are just wanting to play something that they grew up on and something they love, it's ridiculous. Don't fight and drive people away from your cause. Enlighten and communicate those in your cause. Let people know exactly why you feel that what they're doing is a betrayal of you. And try and practice mindfulness. And this is everybody, right? I'm not just saying those people attacking the others. Practice mindfulness, because mindfulness is going to be a great thing that you can do. Think about the other person. Think about their situation. Think about how they're feeling, and vice versa. Because then you can discuss. If your friend is actively racist and anti-trans, then there's no point having that person in your life. But if someone is trying to do good and trying to support you whilst playing this damaging content, and you consider it a half measure, despite the fact that they're trying to donate like 10 million to a charity that helps support you, then maybe your anger isn't with them. Maybe your anger isn't actually about the game itself. Maybe your anger is just because you want to take out your frustrations out on the wrong person. And you need to think about that. That's all I need to say. As I said, 100% support the trans community, 100% support the LGBTQ community, 100% support the Black and people of color community, because I am a person of color, you know, being brown and all. But I support everyone. I support their choices, and they are free to make those choices. And we have to remind ourselves of this. But the one thing I don't support is bullying, is aggression. And because that's not going to get you anywhere. It won't. You'll just lose friends, you'll lose allies, and it's not something that you really want to be doing right now. But that's it from me. I hope this video goes to everybody and people think about it, and we can have a calm and rational discussion. I don't want people to argue, but there's going to be those who are going to troll me in the comments, who are going to say nasty things and do nasty things, and that's fine. You know, I'm a big boy. I can take it. To be honest, I don't really care what the aggressive and angry will throw it my way, because it's just people are people. Like when I was younger, I didn't think about it, and I used to react to everybody's shitty opinion, but now it's just, it is what it is. So yeah, if you can have a discussion, comments below.